Oh, somebody says, yeah. But yes, of course. All right, you're saved by grace apart from your good works. You're saved by grace apart from your moral efforts. But you got to believe, don't you? You got to believe. And you really got to believe with all your heart. Isn't that right? Because salvation's by faith. Don't do that. You know what you're doing? Hey, look, even this text tells us something about that. I love the fact that it tells us that when they walked through, it says the waters were divided and the Israelites went through the sea on dry ground with a wall of water on their right and a wall on their left. Now, I can tell you, some of the Israelites walked through like this. Look at this. God's on our side. Eat your heart out, Egyptians. The Lord is fighting for us. And they walked through like that. I know there was a bunch of others that were walking through like this. I'm going to die, I'm going to die, I'm going to die, I'm going to die, I'm going to die. Oh my gosh. And you know what? They all walked through in completely different qualities of faith. They were all equally saved. They were equally saved. Why? Because you're not saved because of the quality of your faith. You're saved because of the object of your faith, the Redeemer, and the God who's fighting for you, see? And everything about this text says grace, 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 crossing over. In fact, it's actually pretty wrong. I mean, there's a really interesting place where when Charles Spurgeon was preaching on this, he talks about the fact that Moses says, stand still, be still, and let God fight for you. Very important. He said, if you try to add to God's salvation, you subtract. If you try to do something to merit God's salvation, you actually haven't believed at all. You're putting your faith in yourself. And so even to try to do a little bit. So Spurgeon does a good job of that. And then at one point he says, I dare say you will think it a very easy thing to stand still, but it is one of the postures which a Christian soldier learns not without years of teaching. I find that marching and quick marching are much easier to God's warriors than standing still. And then he goes on and says, the apostle seems to hint at this difficulty when he says, stand fast. To stand at ease in the midst of tribulation shows a veteran spirit, long experience, and much in grace. I'm afraid many people take what Spurgeon says and even take this text and say, you see, Moses says, stand still, and the Lord will fight for you. And a lot of people say, now, if I have enough faith, if I let go and let God, God will fight my battles for me. God will deal with these circumstances. I don't think that's what Exodus is saying. Exodus is saying, stand still and see that God has already fought the big battle for you. It's already been accomplished. If you're a Christian, you've already crossed over. I mean, the sin and death has been dealt with, and all your other problems are flea bites in comparison with that. And that's how you deal with your flea bites, instead of looking at them as this big thing, is you see what he's already done for you.